Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. So this is the first video of October. Do you know what that means? That means that this is officially the start of spooky season. This whole entire month is going to be filled with spooky videos, talking about my favorite movies to watch during this month and the holiday that's coming up. And honestly, this whole entire month is the holiday. Alright, this whole entire month is Halloween. We also have Terrifier 3 coming out this month and I could not be more excited. But in this video, we are going to be talking about some horror games that are actually scary. If you don't know, I do this every single month. I talk about the games that I have been playing last month or the month currently. So let's get into the first game in this What the Dude, I'm trying to play this game for the video. Why is it lagging? This is literally unplayable. Oh, it's because I was using a browser on my second monitor that wasn't Opera GX. Today's video is sponsored by Opera GX. Very excited to work with them again, and I'm here to tell you guys a little bit about it. So Opera GX is built for gamers like you and me. Imagine this, you have a situation that I was just in, you're gaming, streaming, and you have a ton of tabs open. I don't know what's in those tabs, that's not for me to know, but Opera GX lets you do all of this without the annoying lag while playing games or just in general, thanks to their GX control feature. You can limit how much CPU and RAM the browser uses so your games run super smooth and fast. And one of my favorite features that I talked about before is GX Corner. It shows you free games, the latest releases, and news all in one place. And you can easily switch between platforms, so whether you're on Steam or Epic, you're covered. Another cool feature is the quick import tool. I was able to bring in all my bookmarks, history, and even my extensions in just a few clicks. It was seamless. And the sidebar is packed with integrations. Twitch, Discord, WhatsApp, you name it, you can chat and browse all in one place. Opera GX is also full of customization with Opera GX Mod. I customize my entire browser experience, just take a listen. You can change the way it looks, you can change the way it sounds, it's super customizable. And there are so many to choose from, I could just keep scrolling and I never run out. So if you want to try it, break up with the boring browser and download Opera GX for free. You can do that by going to operagx.gg/Zeark2. This is the sequel, guys. Or click the link in the description below. Again, that's operagx.gg/Zeark2. And I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't actually use Opera GX. I've been using it for a couple years. I was put on by a friend. And I honestly think it's just such a fun browser, and I can't get enough of it. Alright, so with that being said, let's get right back into the horror games. Alright, so the first area in this video is actually going to be two different games. They're a part of the same series, and I feel like they kind of resonate with me equally. And that would be the Condemned games, Condemned Criminal Origins and Condemned 2 Bloodshot. So I was actually able to replay Criminal Origins, kind of refresh my memory because there is a PC port of it. Condemned 2 Bloodshot does not have a PC port. It is locked on the old generation of 360 and PlayStation 3. So I won't be able to talk about Condemned 2 Bloodshot in a lot of detail, but Condemned Criminal Origins, I can talk about my gripes, the things that I enjoyed, and why I find it scary. But Condemned 2 is basically just nostalgia and what I remember playing back in the day. So the first game, Condemned Criminal Origins, centers around an FBI agent named Ethan Thomas. He's a part of the Serial Crimes Unit, and he is tasked with investigating a series of brutal murders committed by a serial killer in the Metro City area. The plot follows Ethan's creepy-ass descent into a dark and disturbing world, and he uncovers all these truths about the city's underbelly, and his own psychological struggles are also involved. And I am such a sucker for just FBI games where you play as an FBI agent, you're hunting down a serial killer. I love the movie Zodiac, for example. And that's what really sucked me into this game was the story. Yeah, the voice acting, we don't really have to talk about that.
Oh, Ethan.
Who are you? What is going on?
Calm yourself. My name is Malcolm Van Horn. I was a great friend of your father's.
Yes, I remember you a long time ago, but why are you here now?
It's definitely not its strongest suit, but the moment you kind of get away from the cutscenes and people talking to each other is where the game really shines, in its gameplay. Dude, when I tell you the atmosphere in this game is absolutely thick, it is so creepy and disturbing to walk around these buildings, these subways, the abandoned streets. It is such a weird, creepy environment. And on top of that, when you're walking through these environments, there's this terrifying sound design where sometimes the game doesn't even play music and you just hear the footsteps of these like drug addict killers running around. Especially the first mission in the game when you basically know nothing, you don't know how it controls, and you're trying to figure everything out is where it's definitely at its scariest. And there is a jump scare in this game that I think about a lot, and it always just pops up in my head when I think about these scariest moments in games. I'll try to insert some footage if I can find it anywhere. But in this game, you do investigations, you're trying to figure out why this person was killed, you do like forensic stuff, you take pictures of your camera. You're an FBI agent, that's what you do. And there's this dead guy inside of a locker, and you're zooming in with your camera, and you're thinking nothing's really gonna happen because you've done this before, you just like scan things, you report back. You don't really think anything is gonna happen. And then this dude just turns his head towards the camera, reaches out, tries to grab you. Oh dude, it is top tier. I don't want to give away too much when it comes to like jump scares and things that scare me because there is honestly a lot in this game. And me just explaining it is not doing it justice. I would recommend that you go and play this, but the Steam version kind of like runs bad. I've seen some people say that it works for them perfectly fine. I had to install like some separate things just to get the game running at all, and even then it's still really janky. But I'll talk about that when I get to my cons. Another thing that makes Criminal Origins so good is that everything in the environment is basically interactable. For example, in the first mission, there's a part where one of the junkies like grabs a pipe off the wall to use as a weapon against you, and it turns off the lights. It's just like little things like that. And that's where we segue into talking about the game's combat. I think the second game, the combat is a little bit more visceral and crunchy, but that doesn't take anything away from this first game. Dude, sometimes the combat is brutal. It's melee combat, there's also guns, but I think melee kind of makes up for a big portion of it. And you can pick up 2x4s, you can pick up pipes. The way the enemies react to you hitting them is so like visceral crunchy. Those are the only two words that I can think of when I'm talking about the combat.
Come out peacefully or I will use force.
Fuck you!
But sometimes the combat is a little bit frustrating, especially on the PC port. And sometimes the animations are really janky if you unlock your frame rate, because I'm pretty sure like the physics are tied with the frame rate. So you can kill someone and they'll just go flying into the sky, or you'll shoot someone and they'll go flying up.
Police, drop the weapon now!
But yeah, overall, the thing that makes the game scary to me is the sound design, the really creepy environments, the minimal HUD and resources also make you feel really vulnerable at a lot of times. And the enemies' movements and behaviors are honestly pretty unpredictable as well. It just adds another layer of you don't really know what's going to happen or who's going to attack you or who's just going to run away. And I might even say that it is probably one of the scariest games like on the 360 period. And here are some gripes that I have with the game. I know I talked about this a little bit before, but the game doesn't really run well until you start doing things to it, and that might turn off some people. It's not hard things to do, it's not super technical, but it's just kind of annoying to get it set up. And even when you do get it set up, there's just more annoying things. Like when you're walking through rubble, I don't know if it's like this on the console version, but on PC, when you run through any rubble of any kind, it's like your character is just walking through quicksand, and it's so unnatural because the moment you get off the rubble, you're walking like at normal speed, or you run at normal speed, and then you're stopped when you're walking on rubble. I don't know if it's intentional. I really hope it's not, because it is really bad feeling. And also, like I said, the voice acting is not good, like at all. But I can look past that because I am very intrigued with the story. I also think it's enjoyable to just walk around these environments and fight these people, so I can kind of look past that aspect. But yeah, besides that, I don't really have any more gripes for the first game, but let's move on to the second. I'm not going to be talking about this one in tons of detail, but I just remember as a kid getting this for 360 just because the cover alone freaked me out and I just knew I had to have it. Luckily, I got Condemned 2 when I was a little bit older, so my parents were kind of like, you know what, I think he's allowed to be playing these games now. But what I remember from the second game, I almost feel like it was a little bit more paranormal-ish. Especially the main villain in that game, he kind of just straight up looked a little bit funky. But I remember the combat from the second game being so crunchy, dude. You could really feel the impacts in that game. And there was also this like fighting arena, like separate game mode. I would play that literally all the time, like picking up bricks and throwing them at people. Yeah, I don't remember too much about the second game besides the fact that it is still scary. I do remember it being very creepy to play. That might have been because I was a child, but I do remember the game honestly being pretty freaky. So I would suggest playing this one if you go and get a 360, set that up, run the game at like 25 frames per second. You know what? Maybe don't play it. But yeah, I definitely recommend the first one. And if you can sit through the bad frame rate of the second one, go for it. So yeah, let's move on to the second game on this list. So the next game we're going to be talking about is Lost in Vivo. This one was suggested to me a ton, so I obviously had to check it out. And there isn't too much to be said about this game because it's definitely one of those that you want to experience yourself because it's not too long and it's also really cheap on Steam. So the story of Lost in Vivo revolves around the player's character searching for their service dog, who gets lost during a storm in a sewer system. And as you descend into the tunnels, you basically are descending into hell. You're stuck in this branching labyrinth of different monsters, different environments, and it has a very strong emphasis on making you feel anxious, thoughts of depression. It is a really freaky ass game. If you have claustrophobia, I would definitely stay away from this game. Just being in these tunnels all the time really makes you yearn for the sunlight, to touch some grass. I know you guys probably don't do that a lot. But it feels like everything in this game is just closing in around you at all times. Monsters, the environments. Yeah, like I said, just very claustrophobic. And one of my favorite aspects of this game is definitely the sound design. The intro part when you're going around looking for your dog, listening for the noises, for its barks. Dude, it is so freaky. It had me just wrapped in. The game has disturbing visuals, disturbing sounds. It also ties in some emotional storytelling. I saw a lot of people comparing this game to the series Silent Hill, and honestly, I can really see the comparison. I also love the way this game looks. Everything is so grungy and dirty, and the enemies are so awesomely designed. This game also has multiple endings, so it's pretty replayable, and like I said before, it's pretty short, so you guys shouldn't listen to me anymore, and definitely just go check it out for yourself. Definitely add this to your list of horror games to play this month. I would say my biggest gripe with the game is that at some points, everything kind of starts to look the same, and I feel like I was backtracking into areas where I didn't know where the fuck I was because everything is a pipe. Everything is like the same door. At some points, I genuinely didn't know what to do. And yeah, you could probably write that off as me just being stupid, but there were some points of the game where I was a little bit frustrated and kind of annoyed to play through it. Those typically end pretty fast and then you're back on your track and you know where you're going. But I can't really fault it too much because it is pretty short, and honestly I did enjoy basically every single aspect of the game. But yeah, let's move on to the next one in this video. So this one came in as a last second recommendation from this user right here. I have never seen anybody suggest this game, so it definitely perked my ears, and I was so happy that I played it. This is another one of those very short games that hit really hard. And when I say short, I mean that I got every single ending for this game in under an hour, so it is a very short game. And also, it is very cheap on Steam, so if you're looking for a short horror game and you want to support an awesome developer who also makes other great horror games, I would definitely check this one out. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys, I do not want to tell you the story of this game because it really caught me off guard when I was playing it, and it made me actually kind of emotional. I wasn't expecting it to hit me as hard as it did, and I didn't really understand what was going on throughout the game, but it definitely clears it up towards the end. And yeah, just thinking about it, dude, it is absolutely a heartbreaking experience. So I'm going to tell you the story through the perspective of the way that I saw it when I started playing. So you wake up in your house and it's nighttime and you get a phone call of someone asking for someone named Simon. They ask, is Simon here? Can I speak to Simon?
Hi, is Simon there?
And you keep getting these phone calls, and throughout the house, creepy ass shit is happening. And when I say creepy, there are some literally like paralyzing, like bone chilling moments where some of the scares don't have a loud abrupt noise attached to them. It is just there in your face and it is completely quiet, and I love when games do that type of stuff. And I was streaming this game on Discord with my friend watching, and I was still absolutely terrified and enthralled with the experience. There's a really fun Easter egg in this game if you guys figure it out. Leave a comment if you know what it is. But this developer honestly is making bangers, and I'm probably going to add another one of his games when I get around to playing all of them in another video. I would say that there are some parts of the game that are a little bit like over the top, and they aren't scary for that reason. But I think the graphics are really nice, especially for just like a solo indie developer. I absolutely love the sound design in this game. There are footsteps happening around you. You don't know where they're coming from, and it is just such a creepy vibe. There's also this terrifying whisper that happens sometimes, and the first time I heard it, dude, I literally had to take my headphones off. I could not listen to it. It's making me so uncomfortable. And yeah, this one is a very easy recommendation. It's not a huge waste of your time if you don't enjoy it, and it doesn't take up a lot of time if you do enjoy it. So Is Simon There is a double thumbs up for me. Awesome game. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up the video, guys. I hope you got some awesome recommendations out of this. And stay tuned for this month. I'm gonna try to double upload on some weeks because there's a lot of things that are coming out, and I cannot wait to review them. I wanna thank OperaGX for sponsoring the channel again, and I really wanna thank you guys. Without you watching, without you subscribing, there are no brand deals, so genuinely, like I always say, thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, great night, and goodbye.